so the thing that we want to work on today is your resume, and we want to work on the cover letter, and we want to talk about the job fair. So let's focus on this for a little bit. So what I would recommend doing for any kind of resume, and you'll see how we teach the template, is to add a section called the professional summary, which shows that you have some focus in your job seeking. And then in this professional summary, you would basically state what they're looking for. So results, so they are looking for cutting edge, and so results, something like this: results oriented. I would say, what kind of analyst would we say? We would say business analyst, working with cutting edge analytical tools to help institutions, supporting institutions to achieve their business goals. And I would say, and FinTech master's candidate working with him to supporting users to achieve business goals. Something like this. I'm just creating this on the fly right now. Skilled in, and then below I do something called the qualities. So qualities, and here we have something called qualities, because the interviewer, the guy is looking at your resume. This is for the future, so it's okay. It's not make or break. But I teach something that gives the hiring manager some, they're going to spend maybe 5 seconds looking at your resume. So you better very quickly have something that will catch their attention very quickly. Yeah, so what I would do is I would paste, if you have any of these tools, we would paste them in there as the I would call this potentially quality 1, and then if you have all of those. If you don't, it's okay. What you do have. And then we would say, if you had any visual, the second thing they talk about is statistics. So if you had any econometric estimation experience, right? Then this might be the second thing. And maybe you do. You need to go back and understand what.
I participate in a program that is held by Harvard University, and that is called China Gets the Project. And do you think I should say that project here?
No. What's the project?
China's Gazetteer project.
China's what?
Gazetteer. Gazetteer. Huh? Well, let me. Wait a moment.
How do you spell the second word?
Well, let's Gazetteer. Well,
the reason, here's a way to understand this, okay? Mm-hmm. If you see that same phrase used in the cover letter, then you could put that on as a quality, if it's at the top. Whatever this phrase is, gazetteer, nobody knows what that is. And nobody cares if it's at Harvard. If they told you that, if the cover letter said that we're looking for people with Harvard trained experience, then they would say that.
Okay.
What we're trying to focus on is not what you think is important, and this is a big shift to make, but what the company thinks is important.
Okay, I see.
And so the qualities section, and you haven't had my training on the resume yet, that's okay. But going forward, as you create any kind of resume, I want you to use this kind of a model and give it a shot. Give it a shot, okay?
Okay.
The resume isn't going to be the only thing that decides whether you get an interview or not. Okay, it's not the only thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm going to stop the video just because it's taking it's kind of going slow, and you can turn off your video too if you want.
Okay.
So the other thing that I would recommend is and this is kind of a big shift for people, but I want you to think about it this way. When I go to China and I'm working in China, what I don't do,
Yeah, it's what.
what I don't do is use my English name.
Okay. Okay. So,
Because that immediately creates a problem because most people don't speak English.
okay, I see.
So do
Mhm.
you want to call yourself, and this is just a question, you can if you want, do you want to call yourself something that Americans cannot pronounce?
Mhm. So I think I should change it with my English name. That is Dominique.
Okay.
Dominique.
Yeah. And somehow this is on there's some sort of,
Format.
what's this format?
Uh,
It's kind of strange.
yeah, I will adjust it after that.
Okay. Yeah, I would like you eventually to use the yeah, this is interesting. So of course, the problem with the universities is that they cannot tell you to use an English name because that would be insensitive to your culture.
Okay.
They would think, oh, I'm not being sensitive to the student's culture, and they might get offended.
Okay.
They might 误解, they might 被侮辱了, they might be angry.
Okay, I see.
But the reality is that all of these people that you want to work for, they're probably all American.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure none of them speak Chinese.
Yeah.
And so far in these job descriptions I'm seeing, they don't particularly value China experience.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason to promote your Chinese experience or the Chinese culture.
Okay, I see.
And that's okay. You know, when I go to China, I really wanted to integrate into the Chinese culture. So I used the Chinese name. I spoke Chinese, just did everything that I could to kind of fit into that kind of culture. And I recommend you try to do the same in different kinds of ways as well. Your English is just fine.
Okay, I see.
But what else can we do to become very sensitive to the, what this is kind of said is there's lots of bias, 有很多的偏见
Mm,
and 有的时候是大家没有意识到的自己有这个偏见 right?
yes.
So unconscious 是无意识的偏见
Mm-hmm.
So we have to think about that and be smart. And if we can, just make it easier. 就是顺着毛去这个，对吧？顺着毛去这个，
Yeah,
去 pet the
got
cat. You know what I mean?
yeah, got you.
So 我们要顺着毛. So how do we do that? We use our English name, and we just
It should be Chinese.
Yeah. So, okay. So I would focus on having a professional summary, which,
Do you think I should add some other qualifications behind that econometric estimation?
yeah, we're going to have some here. We'll get there.
Okay.
Skilled in developing, and I would say exactly copy this so they know that you are speaking their language. It's really simple, actually. And it's going to become a lot easier the more you apply to the same kind of job.
Okay.
So that's actually the very first week in the training that I'm going to be teaching you, which is the pre-recorded videos that I have. It's
Okay.
important to go through those. The job search is going to be a lot easier when you're focusing on one kind of job. And what I can see right now is that well, among the job descriptions that you sent over, some of these jobs are very different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we can look at that in a second. So, so let's see, this will be the first draft of what we'll write for your professional summary.
Mm-hmm.
And we need just to format it in a similar way with everything else.
Okay.
You know, this space here that you have, you know, some of the space, you might take it back. It doesn't need, you don't need to have so much space between education and that black line.
Okay.
There are places where you can get back space. So the first thing they talk about in this cover letter is, in the first bullet point, is that. The second in the bullet point is econometric estimation. The third would be dynamic visualization. So if you have experience with
Yeah.
dynamic visualization, then I would include that as a key quality. And if you don't have it, but you can get it within the next couple of days, that's okay too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to spend a year to become an expert in dynamic visualization. So let's see here. This is still not giving me what I want.
Well,
There we go. And then maybe if you had one more, which would be market entry, let's see, industry research, and maybe you would add one more called industry research, and maybe document. Let's see, what's another thing that they value? Reports, right? Expert reports, report preparation. So those are kind of the first, you know, things that they care about. And so we want to show them that we have what they want.
yeah.
So it's a different way. It's a very different way of thinking about the cover letter and things like that. And then so that's fine. And then here, yeah, I mean, you know, this for a lot of people, this is okay. You can leave it in there. That's fine. At the moment, we'll see if we have enough space. These things look like they're going to take up a lot of your time this fall.
Well, I'm going to participate in uh, uh, such task examinations next year. Yeah, next year, the June and October.
Right.
So not right now. So I just write the candidate.
Did you already sign up?
No, because I asked for um, some senior students who is from the same program, and they said that during their work and intern experience, they don't think that this qualifications is much important, and they say that I can after work and I can first work and then pass through this kind of examinations after that. So I
Agreed.
just write the candidate here. I don't want to spend a lot of time focusing on that kind of examination and works and coursework.
Very good. I think that's a very good perspective. I am glad that you think that way and that I don't need to try to convince you to think this way because you already do think this way, which is great. So let me ask you then, given what you just said, do you think it's important to have this on your resume?
I'm not so sure because I also asked for WCC's coach, and they said that they have seen many resumes with those kind of qualifications on there. So they suggested that perhaps I should mention that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I think you're going to find some challenges. Um, for example, can I write CFA candidate on my resume? Right? If you were to Google that question, right?
Yeah.
There are ways to talk about this. Now, I can save you a little bit of time without registration, because you are not registered. The answer,
Mm-hmm.
you will find out, is no. So it's actually a violation of the CFA rules to put CFA candidate on your resume without being registered. So let me just show you here.
Well, I have registered at CFA, but I just didn't pick up a time and I didn't pay the fee.
Correct.
So
that's right. So that is a violation of, see here, what CFA status should you display on your CV? Level 1. If you have registered for the exams and paid, then you can say level 1 candidate.
Oh, I see.
Okay? So just because the Career Center told you something, I would recommend you check with me, because what they're actually telling you is a violation of the CFA regulation.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no big deal. It's not a big deal, but somebody who actually cares about the CFA might ask you this kind of a question, and then you would be exposed as violating the basic CFA rules.
Okay, so I just need it.
Probably not help you. Yes. Number 2, my point here is that I think these tests are a huge waste of time.
So do you think this kind of qualifications is valuable or?
No.
Okay.
No, they are not. They are valuable. They will not help you get a job for 2 reasons. Number 1, these will consume a huge amount of time.
That's right.
Number 2, just because you pass a test does not give you the designation. In order to receive the CFA charter, you would need to pass all 3 years of exams and work for 3 years. In other words, that is a 6-year commitment. And even after you get the CFA designation or the charter, that will not help you very much to get a job, actually.
So why are there's so many people pursuing this kind of qualification? I'm wondering.
Number 1, the marketing that the CFA Institute does is very strong. Number 2, the CFA charter is not a bad thing, okay?
Yes.
It is not a bad thing. That's why. And number 3, most people find it is easier to study for something and follow a very simple step, a linear path, A, B, C, D, and then take exam. They find that easier than trying to do something which is like find a job, which is more complex.
I see. Okay.
So most of your classmates at Olin will basically hide in their books, bury their head inside their books and study for these tests. Meanwhile, they will lose all of their chances to network and follow up on a job.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. So I just don't think that I should immediately pursue this kind of qualifications.
Correct. We can go back and look at how this can be separated. Basically, I would not write, you don't, yeah.
Okay.
Business, and it's, you should be specific about what the title is. The title of your program is not analytics fintech. It's probably called fintech, just fintech.
Master of Science in Business Analytics, the FinTech Analytics track.
Okay, something like this.
Okay.
And then that looks good. This again, I would just take it out for now. It's important. We can leave it in there if you feel strongly about it, if we have time. But this is not this is okay, but I'm not sure that, I mean, a lot of people might not even, some people may know what OPT is. Some of these companies might not even know.
Okay.
So just be aware of that. And this degree, we call the bachelor, it's called the BA in English. We call that a BA, economics, concentration in finance. And then BA economics, and then you've already been awarded that because you've graduated. Ranking, GPA, it's okay. We could have it in there, but at the end of the day, the GPA is not going to be the thing that you know, gets you a job or not. But we can keep it in there for now. I don't want to change things so much to make you, you know, freak out. Somehow this is not aligned properly. Okay. All right. Professional skills. I would probably, I would remove this section, or I would bring it down to the bottom. But what we've done, we've actually brought this up even higher, right?
Oh, yes, because the VMOOC told me to do that.
Yeah. We can leave this. I mean, I'm not saying that's incorrect, but definitely never use anything like etc. That's just kind of 比较邋遢.
Oh, I see.
It's very lazy.
Okay.
It's like, what do you mean? 其他什么的？其他什么的是什么意思呢？
Okay.
It would be like in Chinese, 你的简历写的是还有其他的什么其他的. You would never do that, right?
Okay.
So professional skills, we actually want to bring even higher. I mean, I agree that they're important, but I would do it in a way that saves you a lot of space and is relevant to what they're looking for. Okay? So we never want to guess. An important concept here is we never want to guess what the company is looking for. They will always tell us in their job description.
Okay.
And so we just simply repeat back to them what they're looking for. You don't need to guess. Now, we can include this at the bottom, but I don't know that and when we're first building the resume, it's okay if it takes up 2 pages because eventually we will bring it down back to 1 page. So we don't need to worry too much about that for now. All I would say BDA is a relatively unknown organization. So I would say, I would actually mention that as it, what is it? Let's take a look here. BDA investment. What do they call themselves? Do they call themselves BDA partners?
Well, mostly they just call them BDA.
Yeah, let's just see if I get to the right place. Okay, Global Investment Banking Manager for Asia. Let's see who's on this team. I would use it by its actual name so that it would be something that people could actually check and find out, what that is. So is the guy that you worked with somewhere here?
No, not that senior.
Okay. No problem. Just curious if I know anybody. Peter Moreno looks familiar. Okay, did you know any of these people?
Well, because we mainly some of our PDAs just come on site to work on some designated projects. So we didn't have much contact with those people who really work there.
Okay. Got it. If you ever had any email contact with any of these people, go back and take a look at this website. I'll send this to you. And go and take a look and see if you have any email contact with those people, and see if you can, in the future, what we're going to do is see if you can connect with any of them on LinkedIn.
Well, do you think that as a part-time assistant, because I didn't register in their, in their job or team system, do you think that is okay that I contact with them?
Why not? In your job search, every job that you're going to try to get is going to be from people that you don't know and they don't know you yet.
Okay.
So what's the difference? Actually, I know Anthony. I know your managing director in Shanghai. So yeah, we're connected. He was at Baird. I knew him when he was at Baird.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
So can I just, how can I structure my words in describing this kind of work experience? Do I
Yeah,
need to my
we'll do
CV?
this. We'll do this one step at a time. Yeah. So this work experience is the basic way I want to teach it is basically let's see. This is called BDA partners, and we want to not use. So what I'm gonna send you the training on how to fix this resume, and you'll understand how this works better and better. But I want to work with you closely now just to make sure we get it done. Okay. So the when you talk about executing consulting projects for financial institutions, do you have any record or memory of what those actual projects were?
Well, because I only dealt with many, kind of not that important projects like memo and translation, just like that kind of work. So, and perhaps some sentences that I stated here is not what I'm really worked on, but I just put it there.
Because one thing that will happen is that there will be questions that you'll get, and you'll come to appreciate this more, but you'll get questions about bullet points. And so if you were in an interview and someone looked at the first bullet point of your resume and said executed consulting projects for financial institutions and corporate clients looking for business opportunities, they would say, okay, tell me about some of the projects that you worked on. And if you were to come back and say, well, I don't really know, I just kind of prepared some memos and translations, so I don't really know, that would not be a strong answer. But if you could say, yeah, I supported about 3 projects for supporting an American firm looking to make an acquisition in China within the healthcare space with a potential investment of $50 million. And I supported through translation and meeting minutes, I supported this activity by doing translations and recording minutes of meetings between the acquiring party and potential targets. That would be a better response. So the reason why I'm really interested in
excuse me, well, perhaps I think it's not the BDA partners, because when I look back, I think it is BDA China. These 2 companies may have very similar names. Just BDA China, not
it's the same. It's got to be the same. I mean, this is.
Because when I search that, it has different websites.
Okay, so what would be the correct website?
BDA China. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So let's see. Management. Duncan Clark. Oliver Zoe. And Kevin Wong. Huh. Okay, so it's a much smaller team. Is there any relationship? Let's see here. Services. Okay. Yeah, so what you have done would have been supporting one of these things: deal sourcing, valuation, financial modeling, M&A. You might have helped to research a target market. You might have helped to do research on a target company, or you might have helped to evaluate risks and opportunities for investing in China. So if we look at careers, there might be some also insight into what they can offer you. See here. Here. So here is an example of.
This is what I did.
Yeah. Conducting interviews, collecting information, assistant research work. Have the chance to be referred by the as formal intern candidates. Okay. So the summer internship, we'll use language that's probably, supporting the execution of consulting projects. That's probably more like what you want to say, conducting primary and secondary research. All right, maybe so because you were certainly not executing anything, right? The people who execute are not interns. They're not even junior full-time employees. The people who are executing are the managing directors or the vice presidents.
Yes, and because I see on the remark, it suggested that I should use some strong action words. So since like execute, conduct, lead, yeah,
right,
words like that.
I agree, and they also have to be accurate.
So what do you think I should publish this kind of experience by and also make it accurate?
Right. Well, some of this is going to may require you to do some thinking and to recall what you actually did. Supported the execution of 3, for example, market entry, or supported the preparation, or supported potential, maybe it was a $10 million investment, right? Go back and research whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Supported execution of potential $10 million investment in some space, right? Whatever it is, by preparing market meeting memos and language and translation. And that's one way of saying it. Now, maybe there's a better way of saying it, which is more accurate, but something with metrics, 度量化, is very important. So going back and researching and maybe talking to, if you ever knew any of these people, or if you can talk to this person on your team, I don't think these people are, this is not the Dongfan, that person is not here.
Mm-hmm.
Is to find out what you did. And because you need more information from that person than if they need a PTA or not. Your question to them is not about if they need a PTA or not.
Well, because my time is tight, so do you think that I should just, perhaps I may not have the time to wait for them to reply to me?
Well, I think you should tell them the truth. I think you should say, "Dear Dongfan," and leave him a voice message. Or her. Is it a lady?
He's a man.
It's a man. Okay, so, "Dear Dongfan, I want to tell you how much I enjoy my experience at BDA. I also want to see if I could speak with you briefly about my experience there, or to review with you my experience, because now I am here in the United States working on my job search, and it would be helpful to understand in more detail the types of projects I've worked on."
Well, because the last message he didn't reply, so do you think
it doesn't matter. You should not assume. This is another thing I need to teach you, is do not try to assume that means anything. People are very busy, okay? You are not the most important thing on the mind of Dongfan right now.
Yeah.
Okay? Person is very busy. So if they don't respond to you, you can wait a couple days and then ask your question again.
Okay. Yes.
Okay? The other thing is if you know anybody else or could meet, if Dongfan does not respond to you at all, then we can actually talk to some other people in the organization and try to get you some more information if possible. I know you think of yourself as that role as not being very important, but what really is important is your next thing that you do here at the United States, which is to find a job. That is very important. And so we want, and you think it's very important, and it is. So we want to try to find, if you can go back, one thing you can do before contacting them is to go back and find out if you know anything about any notes or memos from your computer. If you did translation work, if you did memos or meeting summaries, can you go back into your computer and read those again?
Well, my last computer, it went problems and my data was not restored. Yeah, so right now because that has been some time. The last project I worked on is perhaps in January or February this year, so I
Got
cannot
it.
recall the
Got it.
details of that.
Okay. No problem. Maybe you have some emails.
Send emails to the manager, you mean?
Mhm. Yeah, maybe you have some emails that you sent with attachments. The that would be things that you could review.
Uh, well, how can I write this kind of letter because I haven't had any prior contact with them, and
No, what I'm saying is
uh-huh.
you might have already sent some emails to Dongfan, and in the attachment you might have some examples of the work you did before, like the memos or the translations.
Mhm. Well, okay, so I just asked uh, if he could give me some more detailed information.
No, what I would like you to do is to go back and revisit the old emails that you sent to BDA and see if you can find any information about the projects that you worked on.
I didn't send email because in China we mainly work through we communicate via WeChat.
Right. So in that case, do you have any documents in your WeChat?
Be, not in this phone. Yeah, so that's the problem. I cannot recall much details, so I don't know how to deepen our relationship. So that's my current problem.
You have no WeChat messages from the past?
I have, but not on this phone. Yeah, I was using a Huawei phone at that time, so my data just didn't transfer it to my iPhone now.
Do you still have that phone somewhere?
In China, and
Okay.
I'm not sure where it is now.
Okay, well, you could get that phone, right? Or your mom maybe could help you get the WeChat messages and save them to her WeChat or transfer them and send them to you.
Uh, I'm not sure because that phone broke down, and I don't know if the data is there.
Mhm. Right. So sometimes doing this work of understanding your prior experience requires a little bit of effort.
Do you think I can just Google search the products to see if there's any information online?
You may. My guess is there would be zero information online.
Zero.
Yes.
Well,
Now we're coming up on 10 o'clock, so why don't we, I need to jump to another call. So why don't we plan to speak again? What I'll do is I will add you to the Facebook group. And then
yeah.
what I'd like you to do is to also prepare for me when you have a chance the full list of companies and the positions that look interesting to you for the job fair.
Oh, okay. So the list of companies and positions and link that I'm interested in my job fair.
For the job fair this Friday. Yeah,
This Thursday. Yeah.
this Thursday.
Okay. I can send it perhaps this afternoon.
Sounds
And
great.
can we
Yeah.
can we arrange another phone call perhaps
Yep.
today if
Sure.
if
hmm
so how about 7 or 8 p.m.
No, I can't work at 7 or 8 p.m. I need to stop working around 4 or 5 p.m.
Uh well
because
because
I have things that I do in the evening. So we could try for you can go onto my calendar and look again for a time. 7 or 8 this evening might be possible. Might be possible.
what time?
Um,
Can you say that again, please?
yeah, I will text you in WeChat because I need to jump on another call,
Okay.
and I'll text you on WeChat.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
good job. I think you've made great progress. I think we covered a lot of good information. it might seem a little bit confusing right now, but I'm sure you're gonna do really well.
Okay, thank you. And can you give me the link of the videos you said?
Yes, I will do that later today.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Cool. See you.
See you.
Bye-bye.